Hello, 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 everybody. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and if you can see me. You can wave at me, you can call me out by name, you can just say hello. Whatever works for you, just let me know you can hear me or see me, or both, preferably. We are experiencing some lag tonight. We have a storm in the area, but we got power cord and surge protector installed, people. But we are going to have to call an RV tech because the GFCI is out. So it's cool. We can get one out here tomorrow. So let's see who's here. Cynthia, Harola, hey, Sue Hanson, Diane Reeves, Barb Granger, Jeremy, awesome. Got a good group here tonight. All right, cool. That's cool. Pam should be popping in any minute now. We may have a little bit light on the class tonight. Gmail is not working. Hi, Teresa. We got so many students, Gmail can't handle them now. So hopefully Dennis can get the email working on the website, and then Pam and I can get in there and get it set up so Pam can manage it there. Hi, Katia. So it's a job, but it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. Does my heart good when I see homework come in from students that were having struggles and difficulties, and they send in homework and it's just spectacular, absolutely spectacular work. So yeah, that just makes my heart do a little pitter patter. Our prize student this week is Tasneem Sadiq. She sent in some homework, and oh my gosh, she's well on her way. Well on her way. Hi, you heard your name. Was your ears burning, Pam? It was all good. I promise. I wouldn't say anything bad about you. Thank you for sending them emails out. Hi, Carol. One thing I forgot. I messed up, Pam. I forgot to change the time on the class through YouTube, so I had to get in there and change it. So yeah, that's my bad. It was a rough day. Let's put it that way. It was a rough day today. How many of you are in the Facebook group? Those of you that are in the Facebook group probably have already seen the post that Sue made. If not, you need to check it out. Pam, if y'all don't know, Pam is my right arm. And without her, I'd be lost. I really would, especially with what all's been going on lately. And she's just right there. Really, she's just right there. That's okay, Pam. Mistakes are made. It's all good. We're here. We're here to learn. We're here to teach. And we learn from each other. So, yeah. And Teresa is a coordinator, correct me if I'm wrong, Teresa, for the TAT exam, Tatters Across Time. And she is a master tatter. She is one of the people when it's something I don't know and don't understand, or I can't wrap my head around it. She is one of the people I will go to find out. I am not a master tatter. I will never tell you that I am a master tatter. I learned from Georgia, and she is a master at tatting. I don't know if she took the exams or not, but she is a master. And everything I know comes from her and her lessons. But if it's something new and I don't understand it and I can't wrap my head around it, Teresa is the person I go to. And she walks me right through it. And she explains it very well. So, learning mentoring program. Not an exam, but a learning mentoring program. Okay. But yeah, she is somebody I highly respect and admire in the tatting community. Hi, Robin. Hi, Lingle. I know you've told me your real name 1,001 times, but I like Lingle. I'm sorry. I just think it's unique and it's cool. If I had a little girl, I think I'd name her something like that. I always like the different odd names. I don't like the ordinary stuff. The only one of my kids I got to name was my youngest. The other two were named by their dads. So, yeah. So, any questions from anybody from earlier today? We got about 3 minutes before class starts. And then we can get into this little puppy. This is fun stuff. Hi, Miss Janella. How are you today? Janella's been with me for a couple, 3 years now. I won't. I won't. Harla got named. She had all sisters. If I'm wrong, correct me, Harla. And her dad wanted a boy, and he wanted to name the boy after him. His name was Harold, so Harold was tag you're it. Yes, Janella, it is the same. All right, Kathleen. Well, that's still a pretty name. When you think of Maltese tatting, you're probably getting it confused, and a lot of new students do. Maltese and Mignonette tatting, they can find their way together at times. And so it can confuse you. Maltese tatting and pearl tatting is the same technique. Okay, it's just which side of the country you're on, what its name is basically what that is. But mignonette tatting is like a netting, okay? And you just use one double stitch. That's it. And it's all bare thread space. It is very, very pretty. Very pretty. We will get into that later on. Most of the techniques Georgia did teach me, but like I say, there is 15 different ways. If it's one technique, there's 15 different ways to do it. Just like the split ring. I know I have 4 or 5 videos up of different ways to do a split ring, but it's still a split ring. Okay. And it doesn't make it any different the way you do it. Okay. But there are easier ways and then there's harder ways. And it's up to you which battleground you're going to choose. And that's what makes tatting so versatile. What battleground are you going to use? Are you going to do it the easy way or are you going to do it the hard way? Pull your hair out and say, I'm done. I don't want to tat anymore. So, and that's what Georgia taught me was the easy, familiar ways to do things. Okay, Teresa gave a good explanation. Maltese is normally associated to rings, where pearl is associated to chains. Yes, mignonette is totally different. Rings and bare thread between. I understood Maltese is more for rings, pearl more for chains. See, right there. Sue Hansen is in the UK, Teresa's in the United States. Different countries view things from different aspects. So that's how come we don't have, like crochet and knitting, they have a set term for their techniques. We don't have that luxury in the tatting world, because in every language, it has a different term and a different meaning for each term. And there are terms that they say that are identical to our terms, but they're two different techniques. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see, what else we got? Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, it is 8 o'clock at my time. Tonight we're going to do a little bit more of this pearl tatting, but I want to show you a couple of things. Pam was just ballistic over my bracelet this afternoon that I made, so I'm going to show her this one. This is made with crystals in it. Can y'all see that? And it's the same thing, but the crystals are the same on both sides. It's heavy. I'm not going to lie to you. These are small crystals, but they are true Swarovski crystals. And I thought, well, that'd be neat. That's a nice little dressy jewel to wear. And yeah, I wear it often. I do like my bling. Now let's get real. And most women do. We all like a little bling. So therefore, this is the one that Pam wanted to see. It is a black crystal, but if you see, when the light catches it, it reflects as blue in places. You see that? But it is a black crystal. And this is the small micro cord used for macrame that I tatted this with. And this is pearl tatting. Okay, and it is 2 different shades of gray, a light gray and a dark gray. So there you go, Pam. There's your eye candy for today. But I'm going to take you down on my desktop and we're going to get started and get this underscored. Okay, we're going to get it done. All right, so let me drop to the desktop. Get everything into view here. All right, now what I've got is my 2 threads from earlier today. And I tied them together in a knot. Now, you see I've got 2 shuttles. Now, depending on which one you want to start with, depends on if it's shuttle 1 or shuttle 2. Okay? If you're going to start with this one shuttle 1, this one would be shuttle 2. If you're going to start with this one would be shuttle 1. This one would be shuttle 2. It's all your preference. Do you want to start with the solid color or the variegated? Now, if you're going to use 2 solid colors, you got to pick which one you're going to start with. You're going to start with the lighter gray or the darker gray. Okay, you're going to use the white or the black. Which one you're going to use. And you make that call before you even start working your project. Okay? So, in order to pearl tat one of these bracelets, okay? Now, mind you, if I'm making it for myself, I don't count beads. I just throw a bunch of beads on my shuttle and call it a day. Because there's nothing I hate worse than to be halfway through a project and oops, I don't have enough beads and I've got to take all the thread off the shuttle, thread beads on, then wind the shuttle again from the rear. That is a pain in the rear. Okay, no joke. I'm being serious. So I just throw a bunch of beads on my shuttle and then I call it a day and I get busy. If you're going to do this and you got it down to an art, you'll have your number right. Most bracelets, and this is from Beadwork Days, okay? Most bracelets size is a 6.5 to a 7. However, if you're a little heavier, it could go from a 7 to a 7.5. What that means is inches, okay? So mine, these here are 6.5 inch, okay? Both of these. And yes, I do wear them, but this gives, okay? This material gives not as much as cotton thread, okay? Remember that. Cotton thread does give. If you sweat on it, it's going to stretch. When it dries, it's going to shrink. Everybody got that? If you sweat on cotton thread, it's going to stretch. As soon as it dries, it goes, boom, I'm back to normal. So if you're going to make jewelry, stick with microcord, beading cord, that type of stuff that you work with for beads, okay? Now, if you use beading thread, that is really super small thread. Buy you a good set of binoculars, you're gonna need them. Okay, because it's super small, but you can tat with it. It's a nylon cord. It doesn't give, not like cotton thread. All right, so now some people, when they do this technique, they will thread this core thread on a shuttle. I'm leaving it on the ball because I really don't know how much I'm going to need. Okay, best to leave it on the ball. And you attach this core thread to these other threads. Now, these down here, earlier today I showed you how to start it from a ring. Tonight, I'm just going to show you the technique, the basic technique. We had a little disruption earlier, and everybody got a little bit confused by the disruption. But that's okay. Life happens, it gets in the way. All right? So, what you want to do is your core thread. This is nylon thread, and it's the same thread that they use in macrame. Macrame, excuse me. My tongue doesn't work right. I use this as a core thread because, as you can see, it's got stability to it, especially if you're going to be making jewelry. Okay, so get you some of this microcord. Now you can get the microcord at Joann's, you can get it at Hobby Lobby. Many different craft stores that carry bead making supplies will have the microcord. Okay, and you don't have to get Ceylon. They have Eslon and many other brands. Tough cord, it's all the same. Okay, this is the largest Ceylon that you can buy, and I forget the size. I'm thinking it's a 5. They have it very super small, and they have it very super big. This is the super big, okay? And people use this for making macrame cord. Yeah, Ceylon, that's what I'm using today, Sue, is Ceylon. Now, what you want to do is wrap your hand for a chain, okay? And you want very tight tension right here, because when you wrap your threads on this, you want that tension tight so that it works like it should. Now, shuttle 2 is going to be our solid purple, okay? Shuttle 1 is going to be our variegated thread, okay, the white shuttle. And you're going to wrap your stitches or encapsulate your core thread using the shuttle. The first part, you start with second half first, slide it over. You do not flip that stitch. You keep this thread tight. Then you do the first half. keep that thread tight. Do the second half, first half, second half, first half. And then when you're ready to change your colors, you roll these stitches over. See how they roll over? And toss your shuttle. Pick up your other shuttle. All right? We're going to do the same thing. However, this time, let me get that thread on the right side of that. I'm going to lay it down there. It's easier if I lay it down in between my hand. All right. You want this picot, because that's what it's going to make, is a picot, to lay proper. So on this half, you start first half, second half, first half, second half, and you're just wrapping those stitches on. Okay? Once you get these stitches on and it all done, then you drop this shuttle, pick up the other. Okay? And let's go for it. Here we go. Whoops. Get over here. We're going second half, first half, second half, first half, second half, first half. Once you get the required number of stitches, and it'll be in your patterns, okay, you lay your shuttle down and pick up the other shuttle. All right? And we go for it. These cords and everything just straight down. It is fiddly. This is one of the most fiddly techniques you will do in your lifetime, but it is so pretty. As you can see, I've showed you how pretty it can be. Okay? So now we're going to do first half, second half. First half, and do not flip, you wrap. You're encapsulating. Okay? And if you forget, say you forget and you flip, I'm going to show you what happens. Oh, we flipped. Automatically your core thread's going to make that double stitch. And you're going to know. Yes, Eve, it is, because the first half is the double stitch. You're just wrapping it on, though. Then the next part is the back side of the split ring in rods. But if you flip your core thread, automatically it's going to change the color of your thread here. When you see that, back it off and do it again. Okay? And just wrap your threads. And then what you get is this beautiful straight chain, okay, with these beautiful picots. Now, check it out. You can join on these picots. You can put beads on these picots. If you string the beads on your thread, all right, here we go. We got a bead. We want to put it on here. You're going to do your next set. You drop that bead off that shuttle down here for that picot. Okay? And you do your set. All right? And then you just keep going. And it will look just like this. All right? So, that is the basic. And every time you do it, you're going to flip your stitches back and forth so that they set right. If you don't flip your stitches back and forth, you can flip the thread back and forth. That is up to you, however you want to do it. But Georgia taught me you just flip it. Okay? You flip your stitches the direction they need to go. Okay? And that's why while you're practicing, you really want to use two separate colors of thread so you can make sure you flip the right way. All right? So, you know, you just got to be mindful what you're doing and flip your stitches back and forth. And then adjust, tighten things up, make it look nice and neat and pretty. Okay? But I am going to show you something. And this is something you need to see. I'm going to cut my knot off. Now you see this core thread. Watch what's going to happen to this core thread in our stitches when I cut this off. Now I have cut that knot off. Pay attention. If you do this properly, did you see that? I just unraveled the whole thing. That's how you know you did it right. When you can cut that knot off and that core thread comes out, you've got your stitches right. Now that's for practice. Now, if you're doing this for a project, don't cut that knot, don't, or you won't have nothing. It will tear it off. But that shows you that it is the core. There is a reason it is the core. It is stable. It does not move. It does not flip. It doesn't do anything. It just lays there and keeps the structure of the piece. Okay? Let's see. Thank you, Teresa, for keeping up with the questions for me. I strung the beads on the opposite color. If it was the white thread, I strung them on white beads on the black thread, black beads on the white thread. Now, if you want the color of the beads to match the thread, then it would be white on white, black on black. So, I want y'all to practice this, okay? Because next week, we have two things coming up for the class because it is coming up to the holiday season. We got gifts. Gifts are coming up, right? We've got people we want to make things for. And I know of several people that would love to make this as a gift to a loved one, right? So we are going to make this bracelet. So don't be too antsy to jump ahead of the game. I want you to pick out your beads. I want you to pick out your thread. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what colors of beads to get. I'm not going to tell you what color of thread to get. I want you to match your thread to your beads. Now, I have a paper, Sue. You may have it as well. The paper that Georgia handed out back a few years ago that told the size bead for the size thread. I had it. I don't know what I've done with it until I can get to storage and go through it. I won't be able to find anything that's worth having. But Sue, if you've got it in your files, can you send that to me? And I will get it up on the website so that you can match your thread to your bead size. Then you can go get your thread, get your bead size. All right? I want you to have thread, bead size, and I want you to get one of these little buggers, okay? Your clasp. Doesn't matter what kind of clasp you get. All right? And jump rings. And you want the split ring jump rings. Okay? Because thread will come off of the other jump rings. The ones that you just crimp together. You want the split ring jump ring. Okay? And once you get all that together, bring that to class next week. We are going to make that bracelet. All right? Okay, thanks, Sue. I know I've got it and I know it's in the files, but I have not found it in the files yet. I'm still going through things. If I find it before you, I'll let you know and send it to you. Sue's got a lot of the files that if I'm missing anything that Georgia gave to me and Georgia can't find it, Sue's probably got it. So, all right. Any questions on how to do this technique? I want you to get 3 threads, okay? 3 pieces of thread, 3. If you've got thread on a shuttle you want to get rid of, use it, okay? It doesn't matter the size. I want you to practice the technique. Tie the 3 pieces together and practice. You put on 3 stitches, flip it over. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm thinking you're right on that. But practice it, okay? I want you to practice the stitch. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong. My favorite cording company is the one that puts out the Ceylon. Let me get that link. Let me see. Give me just a second here. All right, here you go. Locally, Fred, I'm not local anywhere right now. I live in an RV now, so I'm all over. And yeah, Jewels and Fiber, you can get it there because that's all they carry. Yeah, Fire Mountain Gems and Shipwreck, they both carry it. And the reason I go to Marion Fibers and Jewels is because she's a lot cheaper on the Ceylon than most places. And she also carries the Eslon, and she will send you samples with your order of the various sizes of thread so you can see the different sizes. So, yeah. That's why I shop with her. I've shopped with her for years. And she sends out coupons and stuff like that. But locally, I don't have anybody locally because I'm not local anymore. So my local days is whatever town I'm in. But Fire Mountain Gems is a really good place. Yes, micro macrame. I can't say them words. Say that 3 times in a row. See what happens. What do I suggest for the black and white? As far as what? The beads or the cording? All these are done with nylon. I always use nylon thread. The reason I use nylon thread is when it gets wet, it doesn't change its shape and it doesn't change its size. Okay? So I don't, mess with, well, it's because I'm a beater. I'm like, in fact, I had several of Barb Granger's books before I knew who she was. But yeah, I was a beater, a needle beater. I did peyote stitch. All right, I did 2-drop peyote and 4-drop peyote. And needless to say, I've always used this cording for my beadwork because it held its shape and it stayed. It didn't break. I never had a problem with the thread breaking and my beads going flying. Okay, so yeah, this is nylon. You can't stretch it. You can't break it. You can burn it, but you can't stretch it and you can't break it. So nylon, yeah. I would not use polyester. It's got too much give. Fred, where are you at? You're in Augusta, Georgia, right? Hi, Karen. Awesome. Glad to see ya. Karen's been tied up with a book. Henry the Fourth is what she's reading. Now, if you're in Augusta, I don't know much about Augusta. When we lived in Georgia, I lived in Atlanta. Now, I could tell you every bead shop in Atlanta. I could tell you every macrame shop in Atlanta, too. Exactly. When I do ankars, I use nylon thread because you can burn the ends and save hiding them. Because in ankars, when you go to hide your ends, you distort the shape so bad. It's awful. Yeah, Fred, I hate to say this, but there's a lot of things that is short supply, and it's because they're not getting stuff in. It's costing too much to ship it. In fact, we were notified we've only got 25 more days before we run out of diesel fuel. So if you're going to buy something, you better get to the store and get it because the trucks ain't going to be running in 25 days. Unless somebody does something. You just got drug around to bead shops, didn't you, Sue? So yeah. Um, expect a lot more things to be off the shelves because 99% of the merchandise you get in the stores is shipped by truck. And with the short supply of diesel fuel, they're not going to be delivering. Food's going to be shorted and everything. Yep, wicked mates. I love it. They taught you how to spend all your money, didn't they? On the fun stuff. Yeah, I know. We're wondering how we're going to pull the rig. You got it, Pam. We're paying right now $7.99 a gallon for diesel fuel. And you want to know something? It takes less to process diesel fuel than it does regular gasoline. Top that one. That is why diesel fuel, up until the last few years, was always cheaper than regular gas because it doesn't take anything to process it. It basically comes from crude oil into the truck. It's that easy to process it. Yeah, I know. It's fixing to get rough. It's fixing to get rough. I don't mean to put a scare into anybody, but that's what they've just released. We got 25 days supply of diesel fuel. If they don't release more diesel fuel and process more diesel fuel, the country will go into total shutdown. Yep, you're right, Pam. I paid $4.95 for a loaf of bread the other day. Yep, you're right, Teresa. And there's not enough to take care of the rigs that are on the road just to, transport food, diapers, formula, things like that, that people need, medicine. And what we're getting fuel for here, remember our governor here in Florida took the fuel tax off of our fuel because of the hurricane. Now, if the tax was on there, we would be paying well over $12 a gallon. So yeah, we don't move the rig very far. It'll change with time. It will change. For everything that goes up, it has to come down. And that has been proven time and time again. So yeah, it's going up, but it will come down. Yeah, California's gas is coming down, but their diesel fuel is going up. Everybody's diesel fuel is going up. No, not anymore, Sue. They cut off the pipeline. That's why the gas went up so high. Exactly, Karen. When tatting the pearl, when you take the stitches off, it wants to make a ring. Okay, Cynthia. Pam will answer that question. She is the class needle tatter. Well, actually, she's a needle teacher as well as a tatter. So, Pam, that's yours. All we can do, folks, is pray for this country and hope we pull through. Just remember, our forefathers and our aunts and uncles and great aunts and uncles can remember the Depression. Back then, they saved everything, aluminum foil included after use. They washed it and they reused it. Learn from that. Remember that, because you may have to do that. And don't be afraid to do it. Right, there's a lot of companies going out of business. We will survive. We've proven we will, more times than not. One thing Americans do is persevere. We know how to. We learned from our ancestors. Those of us that didn't listen to the warnings and listen to what we were taught will be the ones that suffer. So I remember back when I was a kid, my great aunt had this huge closet that was off from the living room, dining room, kitchen area. It was all combined and it was a big place. But the whole family lived there. The family pulled together and they had stamps that the government provided for fuel and certain foods that they could purchase with these stamps that was in high demand and low quantity. Okay. And so she had this one big closet. In that big closet, she had all this stored: plastic food bags, aluminum foil rolled up in balls, string, different things like this. This was her stash. And in her refrigerator, in the freezer, she kept her money in aluminum foil. And it was her change, like pennies and nickels and dimes, that type of thing. And that was something that she did since the Depression. And she said the reason she did it, she said, once you do without, you learn to save for the future. You got it. That's why we have our stash. Right. Exactly. What size cord do I use on size 20 thread? Okay. The thread that I'm using, this is size 10. This is a size 5 bead cord. Okay, so you choose the bead cord you're comfortable with. I use the larger bead cord to give more stability to the piece. I'm watching what you all are saying. I'm loving this. Katia asked Cynthia what she made her stitches, if she made her stitches with the core thread. This is group learning and I'm loving it. That's what makes these classes so fantastic, is we can get together and we can discuss techniques, we can discuss patterns and talk through them together. And you don't get that everywhere. Yeah, get the sampler pack because she sends you enough sample to mess with, okay? And I've got, let me see. Where are you at? There you be. Now, this here is the micro cord in this bag. This is the micro cord. You see it? It's about the size of a size 80 thread. And this is the Ceylon 5. See the difference? So it's up to you what you use for your core thread. But nylon thread, it's stiff, but it plays nice, okay? You can condition this thread just like you do your tatting thread. You can use bead magic on, or not bead magic, thread magic on it. Yes, it's Marion, Jewels, and Fiber. There you go. Can you see that, Barb? That's where I get it from. And the web address is up above. This plays well with glass beads. It plays well with any type of beads you want to use. You can use, well, let me show you some of the threads you can use. This here is Olympus thread. It's metallics. Okay, you can use this to make these bracelets with. These are from Black Sheep Emporium. They're in Oregon. And this is some thread that I got out of my mother-in-law's stash. And this is upholstery thread. Okay, I have tatted with this, folks. Okay, it is stiff like the nylon cord. Okay, but it is an upholstery thread. It is nylon. It's heavy-duty nylon. So you can use this if you have some on hand, if you happen to get some. This stuff doesn't rot. Okay, this nylon does not rot. It's like plastic. It doesn't go away. Yes, you will need 3 threads. You can use fishing line, Pam, but I would advise not. Fishing line doesn't have the give that nylon has. Yes, Sigrid, you're right. Best place to buy jewelry. I know y'all have seen the Goodwill stores. Have y'all heard of Goodwill's jewelry jars? Have y'all heard of those jewelry jars? Can I show you what you can get in jewelry jars? Vintage jewelry. Yes, I buy jewelry jars. Okay? Some of these pieces are worth a chunk of money. Some aren't. Okay? Here's some pieces here. Beautiful beads. Okay. Here is some pearls. These, I've got some pieces in here. It's probably older than my grandmother, to be honest. Here's a set of pearls. You can tell these are vintage pearls by the clasp. Okay. And they sell jewelry jars. And that's what they're called at the Goodwill store. Okay. And in those jewelry jars, they will have a ton of jewelry like this in one of those glass vase jars. And you can get them for like 20 bucks. Now, I have found sterling silver, 14 karat gold. I have found diamonds. I have found rubies in those jewelry jars. Then I've gotten jewelry jars that was junk jewelry. They price them according to what's in them. If there is some expensive jewelry in there, it'll be a little bit more. If there's costume jewelry, a lot of it, it'll be less. The cheapest I've gotten a jewelry jar for was $15. And that jar had a chunk like this sitting in it. But it was costume jewelry. And you can get some beautiful costume jewelry beads. All right? Which you don't use. You can turn around and sell a lot, what they call a lot, on eBay and make your money back. Because there are people that buy. Remember, one man's junk is another man's treasure. Okay? And that applies in the craft world. Right, Sue. Right. Yes, Barb, you're right. Fishing line deteriorates after a few years. I've got some crystals that my mom had, and they're hummingbirds. And it's like a wind chime, but no, it doesn't go outside. There wouldn't be anything left of the crystals. But they were on fishing line, and I went to hang them, and the fishing line had started snapping, and now I've got to restring them. So yeah, fishing line is not something you want to make jewelry from. It's great to make snowflakes from, because if you're going to use them outside, they're real pretty. They look like glass when the sun hits them. So, any questions, folks? Any questions at all? But I want you to get your thread. I want you to get your beads. I want you to get your little clasp. However you're going to use it, you can use the lobster clasp. You can use a toggle clasp like this. You can use any kind of clasp you want. All right? Just get a clasp. Even magnetics, okay? If you get magnetics for a bracelet, you're going to lose it. I'm giving you fair warning. You're going to lose it, because the first time you go past something magnetic that it can attach to, it's off your arm and somewhere else. Okay? I have a housekeeping question. Homework assignments on the class website. Sigrid, I will tell you, we are in the process of getting all that done. When we cut for winter break, when you come back in January, you will see a lot of changes to the website. I'm doing the website now, but I have to learn too. I've never worked on a website before, never processed a website before. My husband is training me. My husband is a techie dude. I'm not a techie lady. When my phone messes up, I say, here, it's broke. Okay? So, yeah. He's teaching me how to do the website. That's why things are going up, but it's a slow pace. During the holiday break for winter, I will be working on the website, and the homework is one of the things that I've got to put together, is the homework site. And what we are going to do with the homework site, it will be posted what the homework is for the classes. All right. And then when you all turn it in, we will post the homework. Homework will stay up on that class page for until the 6 weeks is up. So there you go. But yes, that is in the near future, very near future. You're very welcome. Just bear with me. Bear with me. It's been a rough couple of years getting these classes going. I won't lie to you. It's been hard. So, and now it's just me and Pam mainly. And, it's kind of hard to get things done because Pam's doing all she can possibly do right now. Right. Barb's got it. She made a ring at the beginning and then put a button on the other end. And then just snap it with the button and the ring. Yes, Sigrid, it will be pretty to see everyone's work. Yep. You're welcome, Bernice. Thanks for the send. You think it'll fit in an envelope? We'll be fine. We're going to be fine. We may not be able to travel as far as we'd like, but that's okay. There's enough campgrounds. We can park just anywhere we want to. And if it really gets bad, we'll just pull up on the beach and call it a day and stick our lawn chairs outside and sleep on the beach. So, but if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and end tonight. Next week, beginner class, we're going to start the process on the three-dimensional pumpkin. By the way, Mooskin sent me the copy. It will be up on the website, okay, over the weekend. This is the pumpkin we're going to do. See it? It has its own little stem and all this little fun stuff here. So this is going to be fun. But we're going to do it as a pumpkin first. Then you can do it and make it a candle holder. Okay? You can make it a cranberry for Christmas. You know how the holly berries, that type thing. See, change the color. You got something different. So this is for beginner class and the intermediate advanced class. We are making these pretties. Yeah, number 2 nylon thread. That'll work, Pam. It's what you got. Make it work. All right. Well, you all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next week. May all your threads make beautiful lace. Happy tatting, ladies. Y'all have a good night.